Hello there once again. Welcome back to our Exam Review 4 series. In this problem, we are doing problem 3c, where we find the partial fraction decomposition for this fraction, x plus 1 divided by x squared minus 2x. Our first task is going to be to attempt to factor the denominator. So let's look at what the denominator's terms have in common. We have x squared minus 2x. Since these both contain x, we are going to factor an x out of both terms. This will give us x plus 1 on top, and then x times x minus 2 on the bottom, where we've factored out an x from both terms. Now, what we'll need to do to get the partial fraction decomposition is split this fraction into two fractions. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite our original fraction, and then I'm going to say that this is going to be equal to two fractions. I'll call one of them fraction A and one of them fraction B, and we'll add them together. Underneath the A, we'll put the first factor, x. Underneath B, we'll put the second factor, x minus 2. Now, to solve a rational equation like this, as usual, we're going to get the LCD and then multiply everything by that LCD. So our LCD in this case is going to be x in the first position, and then x minus 2. So that's our LCD. So let's check our denominators and see if they're equal to the LCD. The first fraction has the entire LCD, so it's okay. Second fraction has x, but it's missing the x minus 2. We'll make a note of that. Now the third fraction has the x minus 2, but it is missing the x. So when we multiply everything by the LCD, the denominator in the first fraction here will clear, and you'll have just x plus 1 equals. In fraction A, the x will cancel out, and then the x minus 2 that we needed will end up next to A. For fraction B, the x minus 2 will cancel, but since we needed the x, that's what's going to end up next to B. Now, in a partial fraction decomposition problem, we do have one additional step that was not in any of our previous problems. We are also going to have to set the LCD equal to 0. So we'll say x times x minus 2 equals 0. We will split this up into pieces. We'll end up with x equals 0 and x minus 2 equals 0. The first piece is already solved because we already have x by itself. One of our values will be x equals 0. We can add 2 to both sides here, and we'll end up with x equals 2 when the negative 2 is canceled out. Now that we have these numbers and this equation, we're going to carry them forward in order to solve for A and B. So with these numbers, we're going to try setting x equal to 0 and seeing what we can solve for. So if we plug in the 0 that we got earlier, we'll have 0 plus 1 equals A times 0 minus 2 plus B times 0. However, B times 0 is going to cancel out. Let's see what we have left. 0 plus 1 is equal to 1 equals A times negative 2 which is negative 2a. If we divide both sides by negative 2, we get a equals negative 1/2. Now let's try the other answer we got. When we try x equals 2, we'll have 2 plus 1 equals a times 2 minus 2 plus b times 2. However, 2 minus 2 is 0, and of course a times 0 cancels out as well. 2 plus 1, however, is going to be 3, equals 2b. If we divide both sides by that 2, we'll get b is equal to 3/2. So recall that our partial fraction decomposition was a over x plus b over x minus 2. Now we can place the numbers we just found, a and b, into their positions. So we'll have negative 1/2 over x plus 3/2 over x minus 2. If you'd like to make this look a little bit nicer, you can move the 2's down to the bottom. So a cleaner way to write this would be negative 1 over 2x plus 3 over 2 times x minus 2 in those parentheses. And that is how you get a partial fraction decomposition. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again soon.